This is the Monday, August 10th, 2020 edition of the Dark Illumination Report podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about why I think Satan allows contemporary Satanism to exist and how it impacts those of us who practice shadow path diabolism.
This is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, the official podcast of Shadow Path Diabolism, your daily dose of Diabolonian philosophy to inspire you on your journey down the crooked shadow path. Here's your host, R.J. Womack, Brother Nero.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the podcast. I'm glad you're here. I hope everybody's doing well. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how modern Satanism, why it's allowed to exist, or why I think Satan allows it to exist, and how it impacts those of us who practice more of a religious form of diabolism, or specifically shadow path diabolism. So the first thing is, I think that Satan allows it to exist because he gives mankind the free will, whether to worship him or not. I don't think he has any desire to take modern Satanist free will away from them. I think he allows them the freedom to choose their own path. He never wanted to dominate them or control them. And if they choose not to worship him, that's their choice. I think that's very important to point out. That's what I've always found about Satan. Secondly, it undermines Christianity. Although they may not worship him and although they may see him as a symbol, the truth is they undermine Christianity by worshiping him, and they do try to, limit the influence of Christianity in Islam and Judaism through their practices. So they're basically limiting the influence of Abrahamic religious traditions in their own way through either their political activism like the Satanic Temple or their social attitudes that they promote like the Church of Satan. And thirdly, and this is the most important, and this is the whole reason I decided to bring this up today, is I think Satan allows them to exist because they take the focus away from those people who actually worship him. If you'll notice, the media pays attention to Lucian Greaves. They pay attention to Peter Gilmore. They don't pay attention to Diabolists. They don't pay attention to people like us. And if Lucian Greaves and Peter Gilmore weren't here, then the media would be focused on us and the Christian church would be focused on us. But because Lucian Greaves and Peter Gilmore and their organizations that they represent take all the media attention and take all of Christianity's attention, they totally ignore us. So I think in some ways, modern Satanism was created or is allowed by Satan to protect his children from persecution, to protect his children from what would have happened to them if we were still doing things the way we used to in the olden days. I mean, you got to think about it. Think about how the traditional witches were persecuted, or anybody who was thought to be a traditional witch, a devil worshiper, was treated. Now, if the media and the church were not focused on modern occultism, they would be focused on us. But because Lucian Greaves and Peter Gilmore takes all their attention with all their shenanigans, they don't even care about us. The media doesn't even cover us. In fact, the media treats us as if we don't exist. So while that may be annoying as far as giving us the ability to promote our philosophy, it protects us in a way because they think we're a bunch of Fruit Loops. They think we're a bunch of loons, a bunch of eccentrics. So they leave us alone, and that's a good thing. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care. Hope it helps somebody. Hope it gave you some insight that you hadn't thought about before. As always, may Satan be with you, and thanks for listening. Take care.
If you would like to learn more about the Shadow Path Diabolism tradition of occultism, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com. If you enjoy this podcast and support our message, tell a friend, leave us a review, and follow us on social media.